Jim White on talkSPORT with Wicks this Friday morning. I'm with Perry Groves and Bob Mills. Great to be with you. This story about Joey Barton, lots of calls in it this morning. Joey, we have read, of course, we've been hearing, sent home, told to stay away from Rangers after this training ground bust-up, which happens in football. And, of course, there are two sides to every story. So let's get his side of it. Joey, good morning.
Morning, lads. You okay?
Yeah, Joey, great, thanks. You're through to me. Thanks for coming on, and I'm really delighted you've come on with me this morning. Now, Rangers have told you to stay away, so obviously something went on. So what went on?
Well, they've told me to stay away. Again, there's a lot of misconceptions out there at this moment in time. I've been asked to reevaluate the way I'm thinking and my thoughts at this moment. And I don't think they're going to change. You know, I want Rangers Football Club to win. We've obviously lost to our fiercest rivals at the weekend. We've come in Monday and trained. We've come in Tuesday, and we're trying to pick the bones out of how we get better, how we get Rangers back to the top tier of Scottish football. And, you know, we're asked for an opinion. And, you know, I'm someone who gives an opinion. And two passionate Rangers players, you know, have shared opinions on how we get better as a team and what's going wrong with us as a team at the minute. Nothing more, nothing less than that, Jim. Obviously, sometimes the way I communicate can be a bit blunt and a bit direct and ruffles people's feathers, which I don't, I know I have to work at, but I don't apologise for trying to win. You know, I care deeply about playing football and you know, I understand the role of a modern day player, and you know, you're representing the fans and how disappointing it is, not only for, you know, the people who were at the game, but you know, the ramifications of a defeat in the game of such magnitude. So you know, you want to improve and you want to get better, and you know, that's what we came, you know, that's what I believe we're paid to do, and that's what I came here to do.
So the other player, Joey,
the way it's handled.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jim.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I was just going to say the other player, Andy Halliday, right?
Me and Andy, yeah. I mean, Andy's, you know, a mad, passionate Rangers man. You know, we sat afterwards, after we'd exchanged views on the training ground, we sat in the dressing room afterwards and spoke through it. There's absolutely no issue with me and Andy. Actually, no issue. And it's disappointing that certain people are kind of insinuating that it is, because it's completely false. He's somebody I've a great respect for as a Rangers player, you know, and a passionate Rangers man, and he's somebody whose mind you have to pick because of how much tradition and history he knows about the club. You know, he's someone who stood on the terraces, so he cares deeply about getting the club better, as I do. And we, you know, the way it's been handled is strange. I mean, you know, it does look like, you know, with my past history, when you've been, you know, told to stay away from the club or asked to go away from the club and reevaluate your thoughts, that something more than that has happened. And that's why I've decided to get on the phone and, you know, obviously, on the radio and speak to you, because
listen, I'm glad about that.
Joey, why is it, obviously, Mark Wardman has asked you to sort of go away and calm down, basically, and you said reevaluate. So why hasn't he said the same thing to Halliday? Why haven't you both been asked to go away and calm down?
Because Andy stopped on the training ground. And obviously the manager pulled me in afterwards and asked me, you know, to explain what I'd said. And, you know, I told him in no uncertain terms where I believed it to be at. And obviously he's saying that I need to think things through, you know, I need
sort
to
of cool off.
Whether I am in the right frame of mind to be performing at the level I need to perform at. Whilst I didn't agree with that, he's the manager of the football club and I have to accept that. I did explain to him that there would be a lot of misconception about why I'd be absent from Ross County and why, you know, people would look into it. And, you know, at the end of the day, I've got to do what the manager tells me to do. You know, if he deems that that's the way it's to be, that's the way it's to be.
And Joey, a lot of people, you know, criticising me, rightly so. Maybe I've came up here a little bit too brash and said, you know, I want to win the league for Rangers, and you know, I do care about what I do, and I do want to try and help Rangers win the league. You know, the difficulty lies in, you know, the team's not doing as well as it can at the minute, and you know, as a player, you're only as good as your teammate. So, you know, if I'm to improve, we've all got to improve. And it's about Rangers improving. Have you apologised to Mark Warburton?
I haven't done any. I don't believe I've done anything to to apologise for. It's the tone of language I've used. You know, maybe I don't communicate like somebody who's been educated at Eton all the time, and I don't use, you know, very grammatically correct sentences, and that's not me. I'm from Liverpool. I communicate how I communicate. I want to win football matches. That's how I communicate. Listen, by the way, it can be bristling at times, and for that I take responsibility. Maybe I could communicate better. I accept that, but the message doesn't change. It's not the wrong message I'm communicating, and it's unfair for anybody to say that is the case.
Also, Joey, after obviously you had a heavy defeat against obviously the arch rivals, from a manager's point of view, isn't this time where he wants everybody to pull together, where everybody's in it together rather than have like fractions? Or you're going to get angry after defeat. Players do. That's what happens. But it has to be.
It wasn't anger. This is the thing. It wasn't anger. That's what we were attempting to do. We were verbalising some key issues or opinions on why we weren't doing that. There was no
it constructive?
Anger.
Was it constructive though? That's the if it's constructive, then managers and players will go with it. If it gets personal, then it's not going to do any good, is it?
Mm.
Well, therein lies the issue. You know, was it all constructive? You know, you're on a training ground. I mean, any Rangers fan would expect the Rangers players, after what's happened, I mean, to be hurting. You know, I know they were hurting the fans, and it's not just a football match up here. It's not just 3 points dropped on a Saturday. It's not that way. You know, it goes a lot deeper in this city, and you know, you would expect the players to be holding some kind of inquest. Bear in mind, not only the Celtic game, you know, we haven't quite hit our straps this season. So everything we've been talking about, you know, as I say, that, you know, between the players is about getting better. So, you know, Perry, you've played yourself, you know what football's like. It's not always done in a constructive manner. Sometimes, you know, people, personalities say things in the heat of what they're saying, which actually rationally sitting outside of that, you wouldn't say. You know, you'd try and communicate it a little bit better. But that doesn't mean that the message wasn't the correct message.
So what about your own form, Joey? What about your form in, you know, playing for Rangers?
Well, I've played 5 games. So I've come up and played in the Best Fed Cup or Best Fair Cup, you know, which was, we didn't have a pre-season because of it. That's not my choosing. That's just the nature of the competition. You know, I played against Hamilton, and, you know, I got man of the match, so I kind of played terribly. I'm not saying I played fantastically well, but I was given man of the match by, I think it was Sky or whatever at the time. You know, justifiably or not, I don't know. You know, I've played a few games since, and, you know, I haven't been Lionel Messi, but I've never been Lionel Messi in my career. You know, I'm somebody who gets on the ball, gets the ball back, gives it to players, and when I look, the team isn't functioning well. Okay, I'm a huge part of that. You know, we're all not playing well. Is it through lack of desire? No. You know, we're just struggling to find our way as a team. Hence the reason we're having the conversations we're having, because finishing second in Scotland is nothing. You know, people are forgetting Rangers are jumping up a level. You know, they're going from the Scottish Championship to the Scottish Premier League, which is a big step, because in England you go from the Championship to the Premier League. It's a huge step. In Scotland, you know, there's not quite the same drop off or step up. You know, anyone who knows Scottish football knows that it is a considerable jump. You know, you go from playing some part-time teams in the Scottish Championship or those lower leagues to, you know, playing full-time teams with a lot more, you know, no disrespect to the Scottish Championship, but a lot higher level players, hence the reason they're playing at a higher level. So there's a lot of change at the club, 11 new players coming in, you know, obviously personalities, you know, an expectation of playing for, you know, a great football institution like Glasgow Rangers. You know, we're expected to challenge for the title straight away. And all everybody's doing, and you know, myself included, I'm not saying anybody's shying away from the workload, but we're just trying to get it better. Things like this should stay within the training ground. I know it's highly hypocritical of me to say that, being on the radio, but it's something that happens on training grounds all over the country all the time. You know, for people, you know, because people sometimes think that footballers don't care. Well, that's not certainly aimed at me, and I don't think that's aimed at any players at Rangers. You know, we do care and we're trying to make the club better. And as I say, it's disappointing that it's got to this, but I do feel it's important that, you know, people don't use, you know, I've had altercations with teammates before, and this is nothing at all on that scale or to do with that. And it's unfair for people to use that against me, hence the reason I've had to defend my position, because I've worked far too hard in recent years to allow people to just brandish me with that when it's completely unfair.
And I know you have. I know you have, Joey, on and off the pitch, and I know you have. Just a final one then. Are you waiting for a call from Mark Warburton? You're going to hope to head back up there to the training ground next week and carry on where you left off, and maybe, just maybe, rein it in a bit. I don't know. What do you think? What's next?
Well, you know, I'll sit down with Wolves on Monday. That was always the plan. Obviously, you know, I want the lads to win on Saturday. That's the most important thing, and I'll be supporting my teammates Saturday. You know, that's all that matters. I've got to reevaluate stuff. Now that this has happened, it's obviously changed the landscape slightly. So it's disappointing, but I'm as committed to Glasgow Rangers as the day I signed. There's nothing at all that's altered me from that task. All I want is for Rangers to win and for us to be the best we can possibly be on the training ground, on a match on a Saturday. You know, I'm not admonishing my own responsibility in terms of my own performances. That needs to improve. You know, there's no me trying to scapegoat anybody else or push blame onto anybody else. That isn't the case. We're all in this together as a football club. We win together, we lose together. And it should hurt. It should hurt you as a professional footballer to not win football matches. And hopefully, you know, we can draw the line under this and get back to doing what is the most important thing, and that's winning football matches for Glasgow Rangers Football Club.
Joey, I really appreciate you speaking to us today, and I do hope it works out for you. I mean, Joey, no one's died. Who's going to win this tonight, Chelsea or Liverpool? Come on.
I don't care, mate. All I care about is Glasgow Rangers. Great to speak to you.
I was trying to lighten the moment. Joey, listen, so appreciate you coming on and speaking to us, and you've never been backward and coming forward, and you've told us the truth, which is all you can do, and I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.